Welcome everyone to another episode on Oral Pathology 360. I'm Dr. Madana Donahue, and it's a great pleasure to have you here with us. Deciding to do a PhD after already what would be many years of study is a tough decision to make for almost everybody. But on top of that, it doesn't end there. We have to, after that, go on to make a decision as to where, and it has to be a good place. It has to have a good setup. It has to preferably, of course, be in a country that's friendly, and beyond everything, it should be affordable. And I can already see one comment of saying, can someone who's more ahead in their life or a mid career dentist also do a PhD? And yes, the answer to that also is yes. And there's an answer to much more that we will find. Stay with us, and we will go on with this. It's a very interesting session because we have with us someone who's actually just finished the PhD from New Zealand. Yes, and I welcome Dr. Shelly Arora. Hi, Shelly. Thank you for
Hello,
coming.
ma'am. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Roma, Dr. Vicky, and Dr. Varun. Welcome. I'm going to let Shelly give us a little background about herself. As you can see, she is, although very young, but she is also some not really mid career in the early quarter of her career, I would say.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. And we'll let her tell us exactly what made her decide to go on and do a PhD, and then we will take it from there.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, ma'am, and hi, everyone. And I would like to thank Dr. Mandana for giving me this opportunity to present my journey, so called as the PhD journey, in front of you. Before embarking my journey, I've almost worked almost a decade into an academics. So I worked for a couple of years in India, in Delhi, in Maulana Azad Institute of Dental Sciences, and then I moved to Malaysia. I worked for 6 years, and I was a senior lecturer. And slowly over the period, I realized that it's means we can continue into the academics, but if you want to stay abroad and you want to be good in your field, you need some molecule skills, molecular skills. Everything is gone, molecular methodology and techniques, which we are lacking. So to get hands on with it, just the first hands on experience. And moreover, if you want some promotion or something, if you are in India, it's different. If you are outside, like you're working in a foreign country, you want promotion, you need to have a PhD, and you need to stay on to your toe. So I thought, okay, I have to. Initially I tried the places, like if I do some part-time, keeping my job with me, but then didn't find very many good experiences learning from people, that it's a bit tough, like sailing on two boats. So I thought, okay, let's I was just looking for it. And plus, when you look for the PhD, you want, of course, you want scholarship. It's a lot of work, believe me. For 3.5 years, a lot of work. It says it's 3.5 to 4 years, but you need scholarship, you know. And maybe actually New Zealand is different, but that I'll come to later. So I just started looking for my options, what are right there for me. So for that, of course, you need to build up your CV first. You need to get some good publication, and then you go and attend the conferences. You meet people, and even my potential supervisors I met at the conference, and at my school also they were coming as an examiner. So you need to have some research proposal ready for you, and you submit. And I spoke to them. Expressed my willingness to do it. But I know you can send an email also. But when you send your email, like for a prospective supervisor, that you want that person to be a supervisor, and I think we are somewhere lacking in something called as email etiquette. So you need to write a proper email. What, why they will take you as your student, So you have to be very polite and those things. And I'll share with you one of the link, like the digital poverty, which my one of my colleague and a very good friend is working on. So I'll share with you on PowerPoint that link. You can go through and see how you make your CV to stand out, that somebody should take you as a supervisor. So, anyways, long story cut short, I finally found my school supervisors, like supervisor, of course, from New Zealand. my primary supervisor was Associate Professor Dr. Haizal Mohammed Hosseini, and he's oral pathologist working as a associate professor in oral pathology in New Zealand in School of Dentistry. So I approached him, and then they said okay, and there was a research proposal. But actually, there are two kind of research proposal. First is you can do your own, and second is sometimes most of the supervisors they have and they want you to rope in for their project. So I got selected. So he already had the project, so that was a good thing in case, because I already had the funding was already in place. Sometime when you take your project, you have to find some funding from your research. So I was very lucky in that way, that I got a free hand for everything, and Heisel gave me everything what I wanted. So there was no stinginess on buying anything. So there was a huge funding we had for this project, and yeah. So this how it is, but the process is a bit longer, But when we get when you're looking for PhD, this is not, you have to, the application goes through graduate research school. So even your advisor, let's say, has selected you. So you need to find the scholarship. So you apply for university, and you can only apply for scholarship when you have provisionally been accepted as a student. Okay. So when you get accepted as a student, and believe me, scholarships are very competitive, and especially after post COVID, they have cut off all the funding from the research. So these days they have become more competitive, but that doesn't mean you can't get it. You have to apply. So uh, I applied for the University of Doctorate Scholarship of New Zealand. And of course, at first, I did not get it. Okay, being honest with you. And then my supervisor told me, don't worry about it. There's always some departmental scholarship also. So what I got was Sir John Walsh Research Institute scholarship, which again is very competitive. Again, I should say I was the lucky one, and I got it. And from there I started my PhD journey from in November 2019. So I got provisionally accepted, means my start, it all took me, the whole process took me 1 year actually to start physically, means to enter into New Zealand. So there's a lot of things you need to do, and how to go about it. And yeah, I think, ma'am, if I have missed something, you can please tell me, because it's a very long story and I have to
Right.
concise it. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always ask, or always any, you can ping me. I'm at LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. You can always, you're more than welcome. I'm happy to help.
Yes. So, first and foremost, let me apologize to everyone if I look a little distracted. It's because I'm still trying to get LinkedIn going and see what's happening there. So, because I know there are people there who are waiting to watch, and I'm just trying, and well, sadly, nothing is working. Okay, so let's come back here. Now, first and foremost, I got to say this. Much as you say, you were lucky, I have to say, I don't think in any part of it, it was just luck. I have known you right from your MDS days, and you have been always hardworking and pretty very good at what you do. And I think that also was proved by the fact that you just won a very prestigious award in our international conference. So it's not just luck. I need to clear this. You're being very humble, but it's not just luck. So that is the first thing. For anybody, I think, who needs to go is, I will let you know, of course, the basis of that price, because that was linked to your PhD. But, for anybody who wants to go, there's, of course, you definitely, I guess anybody will know that they need to build their CV, and they need to get, certain number of publications. And those publications, I think, preferably should not be things like case presentations, because they need to be research publications. Now, but all of that aside, I know, there was a time I was trying. In fact, I was supposed to join New Zealand with you, but of course, COVID kind of
I was hoping
dropped.
that you will be my colleague, but it didn't happen,
It happened, yes.
God always has some other plans, I feel.
Exactly. So, the thing is, I know how difficult it was to identify a place. So, let's talk a little about finally what made you I know you have also searched quite a bit. So, what were the things you took in consideration while deciding that, okay, I will try for New Zealand and for the University of Otago?
It's actually was not one. Of course, there are few things about it, but first I was just trying everywhere. I was applying everywhere, and you know, I got a few offers from UK, from Canada, and even Australia as well, but they didn't have funding, to be honest. And then I thought here was like, okay, let me give my try here. And another thing in US, the PhD's minimum is 5 years. So that was also one has to think. So in Australia, UK, and I feel in New Zealand, it's 3 to 4 years somewhere. And another thing was even I thought like if I won't get the scholarship because I found New Zealand is the place where international student pay the tuition fees and your like the domestic and the international student fees is the same, the tuition fees. So whereas in all of the other countries like in Australia it's way higher, it's separate for international student as for domestic. And that's why I think in Otago many PhD students from all over the world they come, even from the US, because one of my housemates was a US citizen who has come apart from he was staying in Virginia and he came all over to one end of the world to do his PhD. So, you know, and of course for the cost of living I won't say it's cheap, but again as a student you get a lot of tutoring jobs so you can manage your living expenses with that. And tuition fees at that time when I was doing was somewhere 10 to 11,000 New Zealand dollar per year. Might have increased 2 to 3,000 now because of the cost of inflation, but I feel still that is manageable if somebody is still thinking of self funding. Whereas in other countries it's like 45 to $55,000 depends.
Yes, and sometimes that is a semester, not even a year.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So that is definitely there. Okay, just to tell everyone, please put in your questions and comments, and we will definitely get to every one of them in a few minutes. So, okay, so that was, and of course, I think as far as ranking goes, the University of Otago has an international ranking. So you're not
Exactly.
really compromising on that standard. And they're
Yes.
about as well equipped because that I had also researched as I mean, you can, if I think, like you said, from here, if we go there, from most countries, I would not say from the US, but from most other places, I think if you're going anywhere for a PhD, you're looking to not just gain the degree and the knowledge that goes with it, but you're also looking basically to learn the technical side, learn something new,
Exactly.
get updated. So they really do have everything because, in fact, I was going to do something that required tissue engineering, and even that was absolutely there. And in fact, they're
Yes,
already
yes.
working on things like that, so it wasn't even going to be new. So it is it's a nice place, and I think at this point we should go on to say that I have no, what should I say, there is no financial or in any way any returns that we either of us are getting now from the institution. This is just as a matter of basically sharing information because I know a lot of people are interested. Lots of people get in touch with me and ask me where should we go, what should we do. So I just, since I had done some research and I knew that this was a good institute, I thought we should get Shelly across to tell us. So what about the life there?
Oh, Dunedin, I mean, the University of Otago is in Dunedin, like, because School of Dentistry is there. Of course, the Otago has campus in Christchurch, Wellington, and Auckland, but main university is in Dunedin. It's a wonderful place. I just can't tell you how much I miss New Zealand. It's just blue skies, and it's almost like now 10 months I've not seen those blue skies. I really crave about it, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. Of course, it's cold there, but they do have the summer for 1 month or 2 months. But if you can't sustain cold climate, they say in Dunedin you can see all the four seasons in one day. There will be suddenly sun will come out, suddenly there'll be a shower, and you never know that the ice is or the snow is falling on you. And it's beautiful, so much of greenery surrounding. It has everything to give you. Sea beaches, Wow. What else you want?
Yes,
I think where on place on the earth you will see the ducks walking you beside you. It's amazing.
yes,
It's beautiful. It's heaven on earth. It's heaven on
yes.
earth.
And generally, people are friendly. Um,
Yeah,
I
people are
mean,
very friendly.
yeah,
Yes, yes, they are.
they are not. I think because there are not that many, you know, be very frank and say there are not that many migrants there. So therefore, they are still quite open to seeing
I
outsiders.
uh, I think they do have men, but they are very welcoming. They're very kind people, and I have learned so much in New Zealand. I think I've become a better version of myself these days. Means they will so patiently they will listen to you every day, with like just passing smile to the strangers, and how often we do that. If I do that in India, they will say, "Hey, she's gone mad or what?" But they're very humble, so down to earth. And every day, even if they don't know me, they say, "Hi, how are you, Shelly? Shelly? How was your day?" Very lovingly, people, very kind-hearted.
Very kind. So stay also is good. I mean,
Yes,
surrounding wise or
yes,
place
yes. It
wise,
was, it
stay
was, it
also
was
is good.
amazing. It was amazing.
Okay, tell us about the work. How tough was
Okay,
it?
yeah, tough. See, initially, definitely, it's nothing comes easy, right? It's a lot of hard work which have been input in those 3.5 years, but at the end, it came out very well. So everyone was happy, including me. I was happy with okay, this whatever hard work I inputted, I got it. So, because these are the molecular techniques, so you have to be aware in mind so nothing will come, the platter will not come served on a plate. And being a PhD student and that too a mature student, it is expected you know everything. And of course, you can't know everything. You have to learn it. So, the first year for everyone is like that in the PhD, it's trial and error. So, you learn by making mistakes, and of course I think during my first year I have regular meeting with my supervisor, and they really guided me. Like first year I have to do primary cell culture, which was really tough. The recipe has to be done right, like cells should grow out, so cells were growing but they were dying. What problem was going on? And who are like in my team, if you see, like I have the world renowned researchers with me, Prof. Ellison, Heisel, Professor Paul Cooper, who's an oral biologist, and then endodontist Dr. Lara, Dr. Ben was there, and for pharmacy, Dr. Shakila. Like all are there. They're really super cool and super helpful, actually. But for first year, they will guide you. That nobody's going to, they will not going to hold my hand. So you just be prepared for that. You have to do it. But they are always there to guide you. They will do. They want, but they should see the effort coming out from you as well, and they will guide you. They do this or do that, or they will send somebody if things are not going right. But first, they want that the student should do it, and this how I think a researcher is born, because you will make mistakes, then only you will learn it, otherwise you can't learn it. So I'll always remember the techniques which I have learned, and I'm really thankful to all of them. They have given me a free hand, and they were always super welcoming. They always find some time, and even if I say they're busy or something, they're busy, they have multiple things going on, they are academics. And so I've learned the primary cell culture technique, qPCR, I've worked with animal model and plus other molecular techniques, like extraction of DNA, RNA. So that goes with qPCR, everything. So that's why I'm not detailing them. And of course, I work with Vista rat, which is the small rat. So now I can handle, animal models, so in vivo, in vitro part. So my study was like that. I look for immunomodulation model. So where we look into the immunotherapy, one interleukin. I can't say that which interleukin because we are looking for patent and other things at the moment. So we tested that molecule as a pulp immune modulating agent. So that is the pulp repair and mineralization in vitro as well as in vivo. So that's what I did.
So I guess to basically say, because of course different people will work on different things, but essentially you have to be prepared to really do the work yourself.
Yes. Yes,
And you
exactly.
are only
Exactly.
going to get some guidance at the right
Yes.
moments, and that
Yes.
too if you
Yes.
have done the background work. This is
Yes.
something people should expect, yes, when they're
Yes.
doing this. And okay, let's talk a little more about exactly, because I know those who are there basically are going to think, okay, how? Now, of course, you met the people because you need to have a supervisor before you join. I mean, before you can even
Yes,
submit
exactly.
your
Exactly.
application, right?
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
I can say that's very difficult to get, because just getting in touch, and of course Shelley is from there, so I know she's a little more what I would say, a little more biased towards Dunedin and Otago. But my own personal experience was that, because I had also interacted with people in Australia, and I found that there is a great amount of difference in speed of interaction. Things move a lot faster, say in Australia, than they do at Otago. I don't know about the other universities, but definitely at the University of Dunedin. And like, once I got in touch, I called someone, and the person, and I was just asking, like, roughly what is your time structure of this whole application process? Said, oh, minimum 1 year. So is like it, that's the minimum. So you need to think about it and apply and work on it accordingly, is the first thing I would say. And things do take time. So
Yes, things do take time. Exactly.
things take time, yes. So this is one thing, don't be disheartened. They will take time. Everything takes time. Even the visa
Everything.
process
Yes.
takes
Yes.
time, longer than any other countries. It's all, I guess, a little more relaxed and laid back than most other places. So it also reflects on these things. And so this is what my addition to this would be. I think one of the best ways that anyone might be wondering, how are we supposed to meet people and get to know them beforehand? I think the best way is to attend the international conferences where you
Exactly.
find they are speaking or they're there. So, because actually they are also not very active on LinkedIn. So, although you may be able to get them to accept, uh, a contact, but a connection, but they are not really very active on LinkedIn, so you will not get that. But you could then ask them for the email, and then ask them where they're going to speak next, or where they're going to be present next, so that you get to meet them. That's one thing. Otherwise, short of which is get up and go to New Zealand and have a holiday and visit the institution.
It's one end
If
of the
you,
world. Nobody would want to spend so much of money just to go there. I think the
well,
best,
everybody
as you
goes for
said,
holidays, no? So if
I
you're
think
doing
the
a
best is
holiday
as well,
combined,
yeah, the best
yeah,
is just to go to the conference, and the next international
yes,
conference is in Mexico. It's a good
Mexico
place
next
for
year,
the holiday. Yes, yes, definitely you can
yes,
meet a lot of people there, potential super. But another thing I would like to add here is, ma'am, that it takes time. Nothing happens
yeah,
overnight.
of
So
course,
it's good. And PhD really makes you patient. It's, as they say, it's a doctor of philosophy. And I still remember my supervisor used to say, it's a journey, Shelley, it's a journey, because I was in first year very impatient. Now I've become much patient. So you learn it. It's just, now I'm just a different person after 3.5 years. I feel myself. So it's really a philosophical changes come up in yourself. The way you look at the things, your perspective
true,
changes, and as they say, Rome was not built in a day. So you have to go even for the conference, whatever. In sometimes there are international conferences in India as well, wherever you are staying. I'm not saying in India, wherever it is. So you go and meet people. Like I went to NYU as well, New York Dental School, as a, I went as a on J1 visa as a research scholar because I was looking for PhD. And then I found one of the professor, Dr. Alexander, professor. He was a Professor Ross, yeah, Professor Rosker, and he's an oral medicine guy. And he told me there's no funding, but he can still help me with visa and other things. So that's also a big thing, that if someone is telling you just come over and see how the things work for you. So I funded myself. So again, New York is also very far. So I did all those painstaking tasks and went there for a month on research as a research scholar. So it was good for my CV. And again, see, it's everything. It's again my CV was a little bit unique as well. So when I got accepted for Otago, there was something to write for my CV that I went there. So yeah, you can do all those things. And of course, as ma'am said, publication, you need to have original research, no review, no case reports. No,
yes,
that won't help.
not for a research
No, that
degree,
won't help.
basically. Yes, it's not
Yes,
possible,
exactly, exactly.
right? So let's take a moment and take a look at what comments have come in before we go
Sure.
on. Okay. So this one we already answered. Dr. Roma has asked, she's from India, of course, can a senior dentist pursue?
Of course. There's
Yes.
no age for learning. You can learn whenever you want.
Yes. I mean, Shelley is much younger than me, of course, but even I had got the admission. So there is really, and Dr. Roma is definitely younger than me. So there is no age limit. Although I would
Yes.
only say one thing is that for your visa, there's a very stringent health requirement, or rather what they want is for you to be able to get the insurance, and of course the insurance will only be possible if you're healthy. So it's a sort of a catch 22 situation, and without that insurance you cannot go, at least to New Zealand, because New Zealand actually spends for anyone who's not well there on because this becomes a sort of a long term visa, so they expect you to actually have no health issues. So that's the only thing that sometimes I guess with age that comes in, and that is something you have to think about. Okay, the rest are hello. Yes, hello, Dr. Vicky. Hello, Dr. Varun, and hello, Dr. Eliza and Dr. Faraz. Okay, let's see. Dr. Varun has a question. What is the scope of doing a fellowship in head and neck pathology or oral pathology? Any ideas about this?
I think we're not talking about for fellowship
Yes.
here. We're talking about PhD. But just to answer it in one word, I think again, if you go for fellowship, there are hardly very few fellowships available, and again, they will not help you for licensing, giving you getting you the license. It will just add you that you have the degree. Let's say if you do fellowship, I think very few countries you get like a 1 year fellowship from US. I think few colleges are offering for oral pathology. It's just a certificate will give you. It will not give you, or you can't register an American board or in any way. You cannot get license either for whatever country with that.
True. So, does the PhD basically help with the licensing?
No, even PhD won't help. PhD is just totally a different thing. It's just a
Different
research thing.
thing. Yeah,
Yes, it's not for licensing. You have to qualify the exam. You have to qualify.
exactly.
That is separate. That
Yeah.
is separate.
But the only thing is, what at least what I believe, I may be wrong, is that with a PhD you can get easily a teaching job, an academic job,
Yes,
but
exactly,
you will not be
exactly.
reporting cases,
Yes, of course. You will not be reporting cases, but it will open certain avenues for you.
avenues.
I think not only teaching just in the dentistry, it opens avenues for you in biomedical sciences. You can work
Yes.
anywhere because since now it's like a research is like a more kind of a molecular biology, but it may take some years to get it. I have seen people, those who have PhD degree, they are working in biomedical sciences or as a molecular biologist. But again, after PhD, you go for postdoc, you keep on researching in that type of area, so you can get that.
Yeah. That I think anything actually takes time.
Everything, yes, ma'am. Exactly,
Everything takes
exactly,
time, yeah.
exactly.
Even if you
Yes,
just stay with practicing oral pathology, let's say, or someone may be doing oral diagnosis or any other branch of dentistry or dentistry itself, I think before you can really get recognized and do well, be classified as where you are doing professionally well, it takes time. It doesn't happen the day
exactly,
you come
ma'am.
out. So I think it just
Yes,
depends on where you are ready to put in that work and for what.
exactly.
So,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Okay. Right. So this you can say about what happens after the PhD. I think you just did, but
So after
you can have a
PhD,
look
as
at it.
ma'am said, it opens the various academic avenues for you. So you can work as an academician wherever there's a, I mean to say, prospective vacancy is there. And again, for fellowship, I can't answer, as I already said. But so it depends if you want to stay in academics, you want to go into the industry, you can go into industries also where some research is going on with your similar areas of interest, or you can go for the postdoctorate.
Right. It is basically a
Yeah.
research oriented job. Although I think
Yes.
also one more thing is to remember is that just we were talking about it the other day with Shelley, is that increasingly institutions require a PhD even for teachers, for professors, or basically teaching posts. The whole of Middle East already, I think the basic minimum has already been raised to being
Yes,
a
everyone knows
PhD
about it
holder.
now.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So most likely, I think, as the number of PhD holders increases, we know a lot of people even in India are doing their PhD. So as the number increases, the pool increases. Most likely, maybe not our time, but in the next generation and those who are coming out now, by the time they are senior, I think there will be definitely a competition as to who has a PhD is going to be almost essential, I think. So youngsters need to think about it, to very seriously think about it.
They have to. You have to. Yes.
Yes, it may eventually not really be so much of a choice, but a necessity. Okay, Dr. Kashyap is asking, aren't you supposed to clear NZ Dental Council exams before working as an oral pathologist?
Yes, definitely you have to get license, specialized license. So I was not working. I mean, nobody can work there, of course. It is after PhD you cannot work. Like if you say you have done, you're a pathologist, you have done PhD, you can practice there. No, you cannot. No, you have to get registered with the New Zealand Dental Council, and then only you can work as a pathologist.
Yes. And the PhD course, basically, irrespective of what you're doing in the PhD, is not going to require you to really see patients within
No,
any
no,
branch of
it won't help
dentistry.
anyway. No.
Okay. There's another one from Dr. Kashyap. Is it better to do MDS before moving out if one is considering a future in oral pathology?
Uh, I think again it depends what you want to do.
Depends.
Let's say if you just want to practice general dentistry, or then you don't have to do MDS. And if you want to do, like, let's say in New Zealand, let's say if you do your masters in New Zealand or any country, you can register yourself as a, or like you can get your license very easily, but again it comes with the cost. It's
Yes.
expensive if you go for, this is called as declindent, but if you do declindent in New Zealand in whatever speciality, you can register in New Zealand Dental Council and then you can practice. So you don't have to do, for that you don't have to do your MDS. But again, remember, it's very competitive. So the people, those who have done declindent, I know they were Indians, those who are doing it, they already had MDS. So it's competitive. There will be an interview. So why they should take you rather than taking any other. So it's like that.
Yes. And Dr. Gupta, can opting for internship in these universities or institute in oral pathology give a start before starting for a PhD in the matter of finance?
I didn't get the question clearly
No,
actually.
I don't think you can do your internship, any internship there.
No.
Um,
I think maybe
no,
this person is saying something like an observership. You
possibly,
can do
yes.
observership, but again, it's not available in all the countries. And I mean, say, maybe available, but in some respective colleges. What I've heard of the observership is only available in US, I think, or maybe UK somewhere. Yeah. So you can go for it, of course.
Yeah. And to some extent, I would always again say, also remind everyone that it also depends on the connections you have established, and a lot depends. Like people can, if you have contacts that you have developed over time, and please don't think this happens overnight with just meeting someone
No,
once. It does not happen. The
it
once
does.
meeting face to face is only so that the person has a face to go with that email address. And then it normally would take years before there is a any
Yes,
form
ma'am.
of a relationship where there is enough trust for them to possibly invite you, or to offer that, okay, even if it is at your own cost, we are ready to get you help you get the visa to come. Because please remember, for most countries, that is actually the most risky part. For anyone to actually help someone else to get a visa is a very is not just something that we're going to do just like that. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And if someone ever
Yes,
offers to do it for you, please be very, very grateful because it's a big
exactly.
risk for them. It's a
Yes,
really
it
big
is. It
risk.
is. It is. It is.
Yeah. So, but yes, take your time, take time and build relationships. Don't think of of what you're going to get out of it, but think of the fact that you're just getting to know another professional colleague, and you could help in some ways, you could help them, and maybe they could help you. And if nobody helps anyone, you just basically have met one more person, and that itself is great. But it's going to take time. It's always going to take time. That's really not going to happen just like that.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Exactly.
yeah, there's no fast forward button on these things.
No, no, no. As they say, Rome was not built in a day. So all these things takes
Absolutely.
time. Nothing happen
Everything takes
overnight.
time.
There's no magic, no shortcut. It will
No.
take its own pace. It will take
Yes.
its own pace.
And even, something as simple as someone, now we were talking about someone accepting to be your supervisor. And, everyone may wonder what's the big deal. I mean, like when you think about us and guides, like, so they will be your guide. And the point is, uh, basically, you have to have the research proposal before. You may be like Shelley and join someone's current work, but then you have to look for that. That's a very different thing. And if you're looking to basically get your own project in, even asking someone has to have enough faith in your work or in your ability to actually take the time to study that proposal. It can take a lot of their time to study it,
Yes.
because to do it properly, it takes time. They cannot
Yes.
just think of it as something to read and, like, say yes or no. It doesn't work like that. So,
Yes,
which is
ma'am.
why you need to actually have preferably met the supervisor, had some conversations so they know, what you think, and then build it from there. Yes. So,
Exactly.
okay, Shelley, you want to share with us what was the
I
toughest thing you did from the time when you decided that you are planning to go to Otago till the time you got out?
tough with it. I think decision of doing a PhD only because I was like in academics for almost a decade. So it's not easy suddenly from the lecturer you become a student. It's like I finished my master's, ma'am, in 2009 when I think you were also there. So started my PhD in 2019, almost after 10 years. So it's a huge gap. And then it everything winding up, you're just going like you have a good paying job, and you're just becoming a student and going to live on some wages, and you there's no job guarantee for anything these days. So I don't know whether I'll get a job after that. There's so much of uncertainty after it. So it just this I mean, so this idea or idea, but you can say whatever this thing was haunted me for a long time. That is it a right decision? Just quitting my job, pack my bags, and move on. It's not easy. I was staying in Malaysia before that, like from last 6 years. It was my home. So used to living in a nice place, and then suddenly I'm becoming a student, and then where I have to share my house, even share the kitchen, and it's going to be totally different. But I think this thing haunted me, but then I thought, no, you have to take some time, a leap of faith, no pain, no gain. So you have to. I just decided, no, I have to do this, and I just packed it up and then made up my mind. No, I'm just going. So I think the toughest decision was to move on, and of course, after reaching there, again that was a different story because Malaysia is hot and humid. So not seen winters from the last 6 years. And my education, all BDS, MDS is from south part of India, which is again not hot. So in New Zealand, again, weather was like, oh my God, it was too cold for me. So it's really cold. There's no summer. If I say that, then they will say, no, we have summer. They do have summers, but summer, like their summer is like our winters.
Yes.
So those 3 years, a lot of temperature changes, so many things, and then learning new things. It's like a West. You're staying in, I'm staying in foreign country, like in Malaysia, because Malaysia is just Asia. we are Asian, so it's like, and going into the Western culture, a little bit cultural shock will be there. Of course, it will be there because you're spending first time, you learn their things, but they're very accommodating. I would say that overall I really had a nice experience. And again, I would say I was very lucky that I had very good people surrounding me. I would share some pictures also with you. Like, I had a blast, my housemates, and we used to celebrate all the festivities together, and of course a bit of sightseeing. So when you are doing your PhD, you're just not doing research. You, of course, it's New Zealand especially makes sure that you have work and life balance. Okay, though we being Asian, we still be working at the weekend, but my supervisor always used to say, go see New Zealand, enjoy. You'll enjoy the mountains, the beaches, whale watching. Where else you will get this? So yeah. And
Yes.
towards the end, everything was good. My PhD even got selected as exceptional thesis. And just now I presented my research and 21st conference, oral pathology conference in Taiwan. So as I getting that award from Professor Mark Lingen itself, it was a big deal for me and on the stage. So yeah, everything went well. And now I'm again working. I got a job. So as you know, I'm working in Malaysia again as a senior lecturer. So let's see where the life takes me, and
Takes
I
you
hope to
next.
continue
Yes.
doing my research, maintain my niche area. It's fine.
Yeah. Yes. Anybody wants to go to New Zealand and study, it's definitely a good choice. And it is one of the most
Yes.
economical, I think. It's truly doable, even without scholarship, but it is possible. And I was very happy to find that you can try for a scholarship even after, you basically try and get your admission, and then after that you try the scholarship. And even if that first scholarship fails, you will be given time, at least this is my understanding. You will have time to apply for one of the other scholarships before they actually consider withdrawing the admission or the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
They
Exactly.
give you enough
Exactly.
time, yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you can
Exactly.
work on it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that was there, and yeah, we have some other comments. 1 second. So Dr. Varun says, thank you for the clarification. And Dr. Gupta also says, thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you all for being here with us. There is another comment. Where is it gone? Right. Sometimes I have to actually look there on the actual YouTube studio to see things because they take a little while to arrive here. A little laid back on this system. Okay. So Dr. Manusmurthy says, wonderful session. As always, respected Mandana ma'am, thank you for sharing your beautiful journey. Dr. Shelley ma'am, it's really encouraging. And
I want to post a link here, ma'am, as I was telling you about, like, for digital poverty among the international applicants, how they can remove. It's like my one of my friends. So where I can post that link, and they can go through
okay,
that, how to improve the CV and all.
right. You can just send it to me and I will put it up in the comments
Sure,
for everybody
I'll
who
share.
wants, or you can
I'll share.
directly post it in the comments after we
Okay.
finish. Right now, I don't
Okay.
think you can post anything,
Okay.
but after we finish this, because now the live chat is on. So after we finish, you can just post it in the comments.
Okay. I'll do. Sure.
Right. So, okay, right, we have, let's see what else is left. Okay, so let me go to this just to tell everybody that, 1 second, what happened? Right. So if you are watching us on Facebook, not on LinkedIn today because it didn't work. But if you're watching us on Facebook, uh, please remember that our collection of videos, which are right now the largest free collection or archival videos that exist of oral pathology and oral diagnosis, oral medicine. So you can just go to our channel. You can at any time scan this QR code. It takes you to our YouTube channel. On the other hand, you can just go to YouTube and put at Oral Pathology 360, and again, you will go to our channel. Uh, do look for more videos, do watch them. That is what keeps us going and keeps us bringing you more things each week. And now, coming back here, I have your little certificate.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. I will send you the PDF afterwards,
Okay.
but this is just the
No problem. I
picture.
understand.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that will be, I hope you will enjoy your certificate. And remember, when I send you the PDF, anytime there is a link, active link in this part, and anytime you click on it, you will go to the YouTube video. So I let me say thank you, Shelley. That was really very insightful, very helpful to anybody who is now looking and thinking, because I know it's a tough decision to make. And after making the decision, it's even tougher to get doing it. So, so yes, it is. It's been really nice catching up with you after a long time. And I seem to have one more comment here. Okay, we have one more from Dr. Gupta. Thank you for such a wonderful session. I'm so grateful to Sherry ma'am. Yes, we are also very happy and thank you for being with us. Okay, Shelly, you want to say anything? Closing comments?
Mm, just want to say thank you, everyone, for listening. And I would be happy to help if anyone has any questions in the future. More than welcome to ping me. As I said, I'm on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can just find. I would try to help you as much as I can within my capacity, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And so, with that, let's say bye.
All right,
And
ma'am.
we shall meet you next week again for another session. Next week, Dr. My goodness, see, this is what happens to me nowadays. Dr. Kia Sarkar is coming on the channel.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Okay, that's
sorry.
fine.
Oh, yeah. These things somehow after my rather long stay in the hospital, some things just suddenly go, or maybe it's just age catching up, of course.
It's all
Let's
right,
not
ma'am.
think too much
No,
about
ma'am.
it.
It's you're charming always, as always.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go to our end screen and bye, everybody. See you next week.